Hey, it's your friend Cristiano, and welcome to the Queer Quest podcast. Hello, fabulous souls, and welcome back to the Queer Quest podcast. It's Pride Month, and you know what that means. Rainbows, resistance, and let's be real, confusion for some folks when it comes to the ever-expanding queer vocabulary. I mean, we've all seen it. You're at a Pride event or scrolling through QueerTok, and someone casually drops a term like demi-boy or chapstick lesbian. And you're like, wait, is that a lipstick lesbian who shops at Ray? So today, we're going to slow things down and do something powerful. We're going to unpack a queer glossary for 2025, the terms you've heard, maybe misused, maybe been afraid to ask about, and most importantly, the ones that are shaping how we see ourselves and each other. This isn't about policing language. It's about reclaiming it. Because language is how we build worlds. It's how we name our truths. And for queer people whose truths have been erased, denied, or punished, learning the language of identity can be a radical healing. So if you've ever wondered, am I using the right label? Or what the hell does that mean? And can I be one? Or why does my queer identity feel more real when I hear the right word? Then baby, this episode is for you. If you get value out of today, which I trust that you will, then can you please do this episode of the podcast a huge favor and help boost it to others in the queer community by liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, or reviewing us. This is just more than you know towards getting this episode in the hands of the queer people who need it most. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's start with the foundation, identity and expression. This is where language and alliteration ends. Let's kick it off with one of the most affirming terms in the queer lexicon, which is non-binary. Non-binary isn't a new concept, but it is a word that's finally getting the respect it deserves. It simply means you don't identify strictly as a man or a woman. You may float between, outside, or beyond the binary, and your gender doesn't need to conform to anyone's rulebook. Real talk, for some people, non-binary is a soft space, a freedom. For others, it's a hard-won fight for visibility. And for many, it's a portal into deeper self-inquiry. Just because someone's non-binary doesn't mean they owe you androgyny. Their presentation might be femme, mass, fluid, or completely non-conforming. Try saying, being non-binary helped me stop trying to fit into a system that was never made for me. Gender fluid. Now this is me. I class myself as gender fluid. If it's different from non-binary, gender fluid people experience shifts in their gender identity over time. It's not always linear. It's not always predictable. And that's the point. It's fluid, like the ocean, like desire, like that feeling you get when your outfit matches your vibe. Why it matters. In a world obsessed with fixed identities, being gender fluid is an act of letting yourself evolve. You're not inconsistent, you're dynamic. One listener once told me, I used to think something was wrong with me for not landing on a gender. Now I see it was never meant to land, I meant to move. Next one, demi-boy or demi-girl. These terms sit on the spectrum of non-binary, but include a partial connection to a binary gender. So a demi-boy might feel some connection to masculinity, but not fully. And same with demi-girl and femininity. Why it resonates? It gives language to people who feel half in, half out of a binary. And that matters because for years, if you didn't feel fully boy or girl, you were told you were confused. So let's reframe that. What if you're not confused? What if you're just complex and complexity is beautiful? Transfemme and trans maps. Now we're entering territory where language reflects not just gender identity, but gender trajectory. Someone who identifies as transfemme may have been assigned male at birth, but aligns more with femininity, either socially, medically, or spiritually. Likewise, transmasc refers to someone aligning with masculinity after being assigned female at birth. Why this matters? These terms center self-directed identity, not medical transition, not performance, not approval. It's about honoring the direction of someone's truth without needing to prove how far they've traveled. I once coached a client who said, "I'm not male to female. I'm a whole ass woman. Transfemme just feels more me because I'm still becoming." And I love that. That stuck with me because in queer culture, language is not just a definition, it's a declaration. Chapstick lesbian. Okay, now let's get a little cheeky. A chapstick lesbian is someone who doesn't fall into the traditional lipstick lesbian, which is femme, or butch, which is more masc, aesthetic. Think casual, no fuss, comfy clothes, maybe a baseball cap and jeans, masc, femme, neutral. Moisturized, emotionally elusive, perfect. It's partly a meme, partly a vibe, partly a very real sub-identity that's belonged in lesbian and sapphic communities. Cultural insight. This is one of many micro labels that help people feel seen without feeling boxed in. Because sometimes having a word that fits you, like your favorite hoodie, is everything. Queer, yet still a word worth unpacking, and one I also identify with. Let's close this section with a big one. The word queer was once a slur, and people still sometimes in this community don't like that word. But it's now a reclaimed umbrella term for anyone who doesn't align with cisgender heteronormativity. It's also a term that many young people embrace because it feels expansive, not limiting. But not everyone's comfortable with it. And that's okay too. What matters is choice. What matters is that you get to decide what word honors your identity, your spirit, and your sense of belonging. For me personally, queer is the word that saved me. It's the word that gave me back my weird, my wild, my wonder. Oh, now that we've covered the language of identity, let's switch gears. Because the Queer Glossary isn't just about who we are, it's also about how we play, how we reclaim humor, how we meme our way into healing. Coming up next, we've got Zay Energy, Dave Empressy, Queer TikTok lingo, and what it all says about where our culture is going. So grab your iced coffee, open your notes app. You're going to want to write some of these down. Hey love, while I've got you, I want to gift you with something powerful. Something I wish I had when I was cracked open and crawling through the mess of heartbreak, shame, and that deep ache of, why am I like this? If you've ever felt like healing is this confusing, invisible maze where you're just surviving one emotional breakdown after another. If you've been wondering, is something wrong with me? I want you to know, you're not lost. You're not broken. You're becoming. Most queer people were never given a roadmap for healing. We were taught to hide, to perform, and to shrink. We've been gaslit by religion, erased by culture, and taught to just get over it. But healing isn't a straight line, especially when you're queer. It's not just about feeling better. It's about coming home to your queer, radiant, whole ass self. That's why I created the Journey to Queer Healing, a free guide that maps out the 18 emotional stages of queer healing. It's not just theory, it's your soul survival map. You'll see where you are, what's next, and what's possible on the other side of the pain. This guide has helped hundreds of queer people realize it's not just me. I'm not behind. I finally understand what I'm going through. Download the guide today. Let it remind you, your healing isn't random. It's divine. Download it now via the link in the show notes. Or you can comment guide on this video or on any of my socials and I'll send it directly to you. And when you're ready to go deeper, Join us for the Queer Comeback webinar. Let's make your healing sacred and make your comeback legendary. I'll see you on the journey. Let's get into it in part 2. Welcome back, Queer Fam. Never know we've covered identity, terms that really speak to the core of who we are. It's time to have a little fun, a little fire, because queer culture isn't just about survival. It's about style. It's about reclaiming words, remixing them with some style, and creating languages that confuse the strengths on purpose. Let's get into the delicious world of queer vernacular, where memes meet medicine and your personality becomes a whole ass aesthetic. Zaddy. Let's start with the classic zaddy. A zaddy is someone, usually masculine presenting, who oozes confidence, style, sex appeal, and authority. Think suave, in control, probably smells absolutely expensive. Why it matters? Zaddy is more than hot. It's empowered hot. It flips the script on what it means to be attractive, especially for queer men and mass-presenting folks who've been told they're too much or too soft. True story. A friend once told me I didn't realize I was a zaddy until I stopped trying to be a twink. That's queer growth, baby. Gay law. Yes, you heard that right. Gay law. It's a pop culture term used by fans who believe Taylor Swift is or has been queer based on lyrics, interviews, quoted looks, and vibes. Now, whether or not you believe in the conspiracy, what's powerful here is the desire behind it. Queer folks are hungry for reflection. In mainstream culture, we want to see ourselves, even if we had to read between the lines. Bigger picture. Gay love is really about yearning. It's about reclaiming celebrity culture through a queer lens. And it says a lot about how often we've had to imagine ourselves into stories that never ever named us. They, them, pussy energy. Now listen, if you're clutching your pearls, good. Because they, them, pussy is the evolution of unapologetic genderqueer confidence. It's not literal, it's a vibe. It's saying, I am genderless and also sexy as fuck. I am ethereal. I am divine. I am not on your binary, but I'm in your dream. Why it matters. This phrase breaks down the assumption that queerness is sterile, asexual, or outside of desirability. It tells the world, I exist and I slang. One TikTok I saw simply said, gender, nah. But if you have they, them, Gucci, and you should be scared. That's power. Queer joy. This one might seem soft, but it's actually a revolution. Queer joy is the deliberate radiant out of thriving in your identity. Not surviving, not assimilating, but laughing, loving, dancing, eating, celebrating in ways that heal generational wounds. What is the five context here? With all the anti-queer rhetoric in the world right now, queer joy is a form of protest. It's saying, you didn't erase me, I'm still here, and I look damn good in glitter. Queer joy isn't naive, it's sacred. Next one, main character energy. Now, we might have borrowed this one from broader pop culture, but let's be honest, the queers have elevated it. Main character energy is when you center yourself in your own narrative. You stop being the sidekick, you walk down the street like it's a runway, you unapologetically ask for what you want. You need that toxic situation shit. You post the first trap. You choose yourself. Why it matters to us queers? So many of us were conditioned to shrink, to hide, to be the comic relief. Main character energy is the act of taking up spiritual space in places that weren't built for us. So your reminder, you are not a twist in someone else's story. You are the plot. Next one, which is a bonus term, Gay Rap Month. So June might be Pride Month, but for many queers, especially those who are politicized and tired, it's Gay Rap Month. It's the shadow side of rainbow capitalism. It's the call out of corporations who slap a rainbow on their logo but fund anti-queer legislation. It's protest. It's truth. It's a reminder that Pride was, and still is, a riot. Modern relevance to this. Gay Rahmans memes are really viral every single year, but they're also fuel. They remind us that pride is joy and range, glitter and grief. We are complex, and our language reflects that complexity. Okay, you're fluent in the TikTok, meme core. This means sacred language of the queerness. But before we wrap this up, we're going to ground it. Because beneath the humor and the tags, there are words that name our feeling. Words like chosen family, queer rage, internalized homophobia, intersectionality, and how they guide us toward collective liberation. Let's go there in part 3. Hey babe, quick moment before we dive back in. I have a question for your soul. Have you ever felt like you lost yourself somewhere along the way? Maybe it was the breakup that shattered you, or the years spent hiding, bending, blending just to feel safe. Or maybe it's the quiet ache that whispers there has to be more to this life than just surviving. Well, I want to invite you to something that's not just a webinar. It's a comeback, a queer one, a sacred, fabulous, F the rules kind of comeback. It's called the Queer Comeback Webinar. And inside, I'm sharing the 3 secrets every queer soul needs to know to come home to themselves, unapologetically, spiritually, powerfully. This isn't about fixing you, because you're not broken. This is about remembering who the F you are. If you're tired of dimming your light, people pleasing, or playing small just because of society's judgment, come. This is your moment. Not someday, not when, you're more ready. Now. Tap the link in the show notes or just comment come back and I'll send you the link. Reserve your free spot now. And if you're multitasking right now, pause this video for just 1 second and do this for you. Your comeback isn't deserved, it's overdue. I'll see you there, my love. Welcome back, beautiful soul. We've laughed, we've learned, we've probably Googled a few terms mid-episode, no judgment, but now I want to take us deeper to the words that don't just describe who we are, they reveal what we actually survived. Because your language isn't just cheeky and clever, it's spiritual as well. It's ancestral. It's how we pass down wisdom when history books erase us. Let's explore some of the sacred entries in our Queer Glossary, the ones that hold our pain, our pride, and our power. So let's start with internalized homophobia. Let's start with one of the heaviest but most transformational terms in the queer vocabulary. Internalized homophobia is when the shame society feeds us gets lodged inside of us. It's when the homophobia we grew up around becomes part of our inner voice. It's why some of us blend when we act too feminine or too loud. It's why we hide, even when we're out. Why does it matter? You can't heal what you can't name. This term gives us a map, a way to separate who we are from what we're taught to hate about ourselves. And if you've ever felt that shame creeping, you're not broken. You're human and you're healing. Next one, chosen family. This term is a warm hug, a lifeline, a revolution. Chosen family is the family we choose when the one we were born into can't or won't love us fully as we are, maybe because they don't understand us. It's your best friend who shows up with soup when you're sick. It's your drag house, your queer circle, your ride or die brunch crew. It's the people who say, you're not too much, you're just enough. Why it matters? Chosen family rewrites the narrative of rejection. It says, blood isn't always thicker. Sometimes glitter is. I wouldn't be here today without my chosen family. They see me in my light, my shadows, my breakdowns, and they stayed. They was fucking sacred. Queer rage. You might not hear this one in Pride ads, but you should. Queer rage is the fire that fuels revolutions. It's what made Stonewall erupt. It's what makes trans activists speak up. It's the righteous anger that we all feel when another law tries to erase us. Why it matters. We've been told to be polite, to assimilate, but sometimes anger is holy. Sometimes yelling is the prayer. Let your queer rage rise and then alchemize it into art, into protest, into your unapologetic existence. Intersectionality. Now, this term, coined by Black feminist scholar Kimberly Crenshaw, reminds us that queerness doesn't exist in a vacuum. Intersectionality is the understanding that systems of oppression are interconnected, that a Black trans woman experiences the world differently than a white cis gay man. That race, gender, class, ability, and more shape how queerness is lived and received. Why it matters. It calls us into solidarity. It asks us to listen. It demands that we don't just center queerness, but the full lived experience of those marginalized within our own community. So if your pride doesn't include Black, brown, disabled, fat, neurodivergent, trans, poor queers, then it's not pride, it's performance. Queer awakening. Let's end with one of my personal favorites. Queer awakening is that moment or series of moments when you finally see yourself clearly, when you realize the rules you've been following were never written with you in mind, when the veil lit and you remember, oh, I'm not broken, I'm just queer, and that's beautiful. Why it matters? This awakening doesn't just change your identity, it changes your life. It births new dreams, new loves, new ways of being. And if you haven't had your queer awakening yet, or you're still in the middle of it, it's okay. You're not late, you're not behind, you're becoming. Final reflection. So what did we learn from this big gay glossary? The queer glossary, I should say, is that words are more than words. They're spells, they're mirrors, they're shields, they open doors. And that in a world trying to erase our complexity, our joy, and our truth, the way we speak about ourselves becomes a form of resistance. To keep learning, keep evolving, keep questioning. And above all, keep naming yourself with love, because only you get to decide the language that feels like home. So if this episode opens something for you, share it with someone in your chosen family so they can learn more as well. Post your favorite queer term on Instagram or Threads and tag me and our Queer Plus Institute. Let's build a community glossary together. And if you want to keep diving deep into your queer healing, come check out my free webinar, The Queer Comeback, where we help you overcome all the judgments, trauma, and struggles that you faced growing up queer in a world not built for you, so you can have the skills and opportunity to create the life you've always imagined having, but deep down, maybe never felt possible. It's where we turn this kind of language into transformation. I'll be back soon with another episode, and please help support the channel by liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, or reviewing us so we can get more queer eyes on this. Also, let's get the non-queer eyes who really need this video too. Until then, always remember that you've got this and I've got you. Bye for now. Hey love, before you go, I need to tell you something important. You weren't meant to do this healing journey alone. You weren't meant to figure out your queer identity, your purpose, your healing, your worth in silence. So if you've been listening and thinking, I'm ready, I want to transform, I want to live fully, I just don't know how, this is your sign. This is your queer comeback. Welcome to QueerQuest Pro, a revolutionary 12-month journey of queer healing, growth, and transformation in every area of your life. From your mental and emotional health to your spiritual connection, purpose, finances, identity, relationships. This is your full circle evolution. We guide you month by month through the queer wellness wheel of life with workshops, live coaching, quests, rituals, and a global community of queer souls rising together. It's the place for woke queer humans who are ready to rise unapologetically. Because healing is hard, but healing in community, that's sacred. And baby, you deserve sacred. Are you ready to live a life that actually feels like yours? Click the link in the show notes to join us now. Doors are open. We're waiting for you inside. This is your comeback. Don't miss it.